have Jim with us very often, so we're thrilled to have him here today. Your choice will be in the size. The larger egg is going to be $37, that's 6 inches, and the smaller will be $23, that's 5 inches. The larger one is titled Somebody Loves You, and the smaller, Sing for Spring. Oh, I like that we close them. Thank you for bringing them out that way.
Yeah, these things match me.
They do. I mean,
too,
geez, you couldn't have dressed any better for the show.
Hey, you know, you mentioned just a minute ago about these pieces meeting expectations.
Beating expectations.
Well, you know, that's something I always ask, and I'm never afraid to ask it. You know, I ask, are you satisfied when you actually get them home?
Yes.
You know, compared to what you've seen, you know, on TV here. Mm-hmm. And I'm always, you know, confident in asking that question because I know what the answer is going to be. You know, that invariably they'll say it's better. You know, it's better than I thought it was going to be. You know, I mean, it looks better in person than it does on air. You know, because you know you can spend time, you know, going over these pieces and looking at all the details and everything. There's always a lot to see on these things. So
yes.
it's not something that you ever get bored with because there's always a lot of stuff to see.
And that's the fun thing about it, I think, Jim, is these are what memories are made of. You can look at it and you can look at the outside and enjoy that. When you open it up, the diorama on the inside is just amazing.
That's what I want it to be, Pat. I want these things to be a part of the family's tradition or you know, their history. You know, there's things like that in my life, you know, that I remember from when I was a child that and growing up, you know, things that had, maybe they didn't have a huge amount of meaning, but they were there, you know,
exactly.
and they were something that I was comfortable with.
An association with
exactly,
a great memory.
You know, and they provide a sort of a basis for memories, you know, with the folks and all that stuff.
I have to say, when I saw these growing up, my Grammy would always give us every year in our Easter basket those sugar eggs that had the, you know, and they're hard to find now. But that's exactly, it took me right back to that place of Easter Sunday and wearing, you know, my patent leather little shoes, the Easter bonnet, the little purse, the special Easter dress that you got. It took me right back there where I could feel the Easter grass and I could smell the Easter candy when I looked at these.
Perfect. That's a great way to describe these things. You know, the detail in this. Once again, it's detailed fairly extremely. You know, on the inside and the outside. So you know you can display them like that with that nice rose mauling patterning there. You can open it up and you've got this the scene and that is high relief, as you can see.
Yes.
So it's almost like a figural piece in there. And then with the quilting background and you know, for all the quilters out there that are, you know, my kind of people, you know, they'll recognize these patterns, you know, because I take a lot of these patterns off of the collection that Jan and I have. We have an extensive collection of vintage quilts.
She's a quilter. Yes.
We have so many quilters, and in fact, you know, that's one of the reasons that I always have a little bit of purple in my pieces, and that I always wear purple because that was my grandmother's favorite color.
Oh, how nice.
And she was such a huge influence with the quilt patterns that you know, and it was kind of like my early education, you know, about artwork and that sort of thing. So it meant a lot to me, and that's, as a tribute, I do that for Grandma.
Lovely.
But and it stuck with me, you know, because I use quilts extensively in the patterning.
And the good news is, Jim, Dan just told me, most of you are getting both. Because many times you'll see this once and we won't have the opportunity to bring it back to you again. So get both of them. They complement each other beautifully. $23, $37. Use your Q card. That way you always have 3 easy pays. You're more than welcome to do something like that. You know, it's interesting because we measured the small at 5 inches and the large at 6 inches, but there's quite a bit of difference in the size on this. I think this would be a beautiful companion piece to the Easter basket that's coming up.
I think so too.
With the 4 little eggs that are inside that are all carved at the Easter basket, which we'll show you in just a little bit. But all about spring. Here's a great example of where you capture emotion. This little chick looks like it just made its way out of the egg, and it's like, hello world. Don't you think? I just think it's so cute, and all that, you could just hear it. It just these pieces come to life for you. And maybe this is baby's first Christmas, and you could write that on the bottom if you
That
want
would
to
be
do something
perfect.
like
You know,
that.
well,
right?
yeah,
Married
absolutely,
first
and
Christmas.
it's a great way to celebrate the, sort of the
Rebirth.
beginning of the year when everything's
Mm-hmm.
popping out, and you've got the color and everything. This certainly emulates that for sure.
Well, when I saw the next piece, or the next two pieces, I have to say it really moved me, and I think it's going to move you too. And we're going to share with you right now Jim's favorite thing, as he told us, to be able to create for us angels. And these angels have two of our favorite